Hi, this is Naveena Shine, Living on Light Experiment. Today is Sunday, the 16th of June. What I'm going to announce now is that on Wednesday, the 19th of June, I'm going to close down the experiment. It's going to be the end of the Living on Light experiment. I'm going to start eating again and slowly coming back into the space where I'm going to start eating food. Now, there's many complex reasons for this, which if you listen to the end of the tape, you will hear why it is that I'm taking this decision, making this choice. The overt reason, the one that's on the surface, which has really got nothing to do with the truth of what's going on, is that on the 19th, the 47th day of the experiment, that's when the phones are going to be cut off and the internet's going to be cut off. So it's almost impossible to continue then. And the big thing is that the space I'm living in needs to be paid for, and I don't have the money to do that. So practically speaking, it's going to be closed. But the money side of this is kind of irrelevant because money is just an energy. So I'm looking to see what's going on behind that, and very clear. There's nothing like money to bring clarity into a situation. So there's a lot more to this. What I did in the beginning was to come from the place where I wanted this could have been amazing information to be coming out into the universe so that we as a human race could find a way to exist on this planet without pretty much destroying everything we touch. And if there's lots of evidence for living on light, and if it were true, could have been fantastic. When I did what I did and started this, I looked at the response from my universe. I always say that intention is measured by what actually happens. I might have had this great intention in my mind and these wonderful things that I wanted to happen from it. But that came from my mind. That was my interpretation of the calling that I had. What existence wanted is actually what happened. And some amazing things have happened. So there's been a lot of feedback from my universe, positive and negative and everything in between. Wonderful. But what it has really shown me is that our world is absolutely not ready to receive the information, even if it's true. It isn't ready. Of course, the feedback I got were from people who were internet savvy, watching it, taking note of it, whatever they did to give the feedback. And beyond that, there's vast numbers of people who are not even able to be on the internet and don't even have the whatever it takes to be in that modern mode. So the vast majority of this, and there was a lot of negative stuff in this, and there were a lot of people who genuinely are concerned for safety and genuinely don't think it's possible and believe it to be dangerous. Now that I've seen all that feedback, I am really seeing that it is totally dangerous. Living on light is not about simply not eating. In fact, not eating comes as a result from being the one that can live on light. It sounds a little weird, but there are magnitude of requirements needed before a person can live on light. This is what I see. Everything within a person's system has to be in place. Sometimes it takes years. Sometimes it takes a lifetime. Sometimes it never happens. But there are huge requirements that are needed on the internal system of a human being before that person is ready to have living on light occur. Not eating results from having those in place, not the other way round. All the physical systems of a person have to be in place, whatever those are going to be, especially the programming that our mind receives from the moment we're conceived. All of those have to be open and ready and already working with the possibility of living on light before living on light could happen. You have to let go of a lot of the beliefs, a lot of the ways that you think things are or should be. You have to drop them. And that sometimes takes a long time. You also have to have the emotional systems ready to receive this. You can't be living in fear. You can't be living in fear of survival, that you might die, because that stops you being able to do this. But most of all, you have to have the whole of you engaged in this. The part that you know, which is the mind and the body, and the part which you don't know, which I will call spirit or universal energy, or everything in the whole of your universe lined up from inside to allow the possibility of living on light to occur. If I completed the experiment, and I have no idea if I could or not, I think it would be a terrible injustice. I think it would be stupid. And I think it would be something that people will look at and say, oh, look, she did this, she lives on light, she stopped eating, I'll do it too. Totally coming from mind. And what they will do is stop eating and they will die. Just like I will if all my systems aren't lined up. And I tell you, all my systems aren't lined up. If somebody just comes from the outside in, which is what I did, I came from a great idea. I did not come from the inside out. They are in terrible danger. It is pretty well analogous to if I see this amazing tightrope walker high above the circus ring and I say, wow, that's fantastic. Look at them. If they can do it, I can do it. Maybe I'll read a book about tightrope walking. But what people might do is say, I can do this. They'll climb up there. They'll walk out on this horribly dangerous tight wire. And they're going to fall. No choice. They're going to fall. That's just what will happen. They haven't spent the time, the years of practice. They haven't done the preparation. They haven't done what it truly takes to walk on a tightrope. Living on light is exactly the same. If you see me or anybody else doing this and say, wow, look at that. That looks easy. I can do that. And go out and do it. You're going to fall. You're going to fall just like you would off the tightrope. So I am choosing to stop the experiment now. Because even if it's true, it would be a mistake to put that out as if it's easy, as if it's real, as if it's anything. And that's what people will do. So I'm simply not going to do it. We'll have a record of 47 days, which happens to be my lucky number. And the excuse of having the phones being turned off and the fact that there's been no support is very good information. It's not what's creating this, but it's telling me what my universe needs to have happen. It tells me that my calling was just to do what I did, which I did. I have also seen in the feedback that there are vast numbers of people interested in this. There are many people doing it from what they say. Again, that leaves you in the question of, is it true? But those people are coming from the inside out. They are coming from the place of, oh, I have this understanding. I have this wholeness about me that is calling me from the inside, from who I am, from everything about me, the spiritual, the physical, the mental, the emotional, everything in my life is calling me as an individual to walk on this path. They are on their way. They have a wholeness that is needed to allow living on light to occur. When person comes from that, it is the food that drops you, not you who drops the food. So those people who are already on the path and have been watching this experiment, you can know that you don't ever have to look at anybody else to see, did they do it? If they do it, that means I can, because that's not true. You're doing it because that's your choice to do it. You're taking responsibility to do it and all the consequences. And it is coming from your deep inner spiritual drawing into it. You might look at these 47 days and see what happened, because a lot of things happen in those days that could be useful information to you. You can see I'm looking healthy, I feel healthy, bouncing with energy. None of those dire predictions that people were saying is going to happen happened. I have no idea if I'm living on light or not. I could be starving to death. I don't know. I'm never going to be able to find out, because I'm not going to go any further than the 19th. But you don't need me anyway, and nobody can look at somebody else and say, oh, just because they do it, I can do it. It's a lot more to it than that. I think this information does have to come out into the universe if it's true, and I think it is. People like Hira Manak Vatan has spent 70 years doing this, he says, and he's been tested in many laboratories and proven to be accurate in what he says. He probably needs to be tested using Western technology for testing, and it'll come out that he can do it. Or not, I don't know. Other people are coming at this in a much more organic way than I came at it. The people who make the important message that this comes from the inside, that there is lots of preparation, and make the preparation the message. They are going to be the ones that can bring this out in a much more organic way. What I did, I think is extremely valuable too. Because I'm closing it doesn't mean to say there's any failure here. I don't think in terms of success and failure anyway. The consequences of what I did has opened up the space, has already had amazing conversations and discussions and arguments, and people are starting to look now at the question, which is what I wanted. It has spread throughout the whole world. Unbelievable. I couldn't even imagine anything being more successful than that. Not because it was because I wanted the message out. And now that the message has gone out, people at least now have more of a space for listening, have more of a space for questioning. I think people are now more willing to look and see what is actually going on here. There's lots of evidence all over the place that people are doing this. And as it comes much more slowly and organically into the consciousness of the world, people are going to have to look at that. I can't ignore it anymore. It's way too much in the face now. Personally, do I think it's possible? For me, it's still a question. I see much more evidence to show that yes, it's possible. But I also see that it has to come out from the inside. So I'm not willing to risk either my life or other people's lives. It has to be a place of responsibility. You can't blame anybody else for what you do. You have to do it yourself and know the consequences. So I think that's all for now. I have 2 more days of phones left so the press can finish off whatever they need to do. The 19th, Wednesday. And I want to thank everybody. I will do another couple of videos, but I really do want to thank people for their participation on either side of the question. It has shown that the question has relevance, even though it's been discounted. It has traction in the world. Now the people coming next after me, and there has to be, they have a place where people can hear them. And I have you to thank for that. And I have the press to thank for that. They were amazing, very supportive. At least they didn't destroy it. So the universe is saying, this is what I want because this is what's occurring. I have no argument with that. My original idea, it's morphed into this, and that's perfect as it is. I did what I did. I got what I got. And I call that perfect as it is. So, talk to you next time. And thank you all so much.